Hey kids, Mr. John here, and today we're talking battles of the Revolution. Some of the early battles. We've already had Lexington, Concord, and Bunker Hill. The Continental Army has just been formed. Washington has taken command. Let's talk about what happens now. So the British realize that if they're going to quell this rebellion, they're going to need a lot more men. So in the summer of 1776, they sent a force of 32,000 troops across the ocean to New York. Washington is ready for this threat, and he meets this threat at the Battle of Long Island. Here's the problem. Washington's force only numbers 20,000. 32 versus 20,000. Being outnumbered, outtrained, and outgunned, the Continental Army was soundly defeated and retreated, and then the British Army chased them all the way to Pennsylvania, where the British pretty much let them go at this point because they thought Washington and his force was mostly defeated, that they were essentially a negligible threat at this point. And then we come up with a surprise attack. So the Continental Army is in bad shape after Long Island. And after desertion, people just leaving, casualties, and enlistments running out, the Continental Army was running into the winter of 76 with only 5,000 men. There were 20, now there's 5,000, and keep in mind that the British had just sent over 32,000. So morale was pretty low. In fact, it was at an all-time low. Washington knew he needed to win, or he needed a win, no matter how small, if he was going to hold his army together. His opportunity came on Christmas. So there was a relatively small Hessian force. Those are the mercenaries, the German mercenaries that the British are hiring to help fight. And they're camped over in the town of Trenton, New Jersey, right across the Delaware River. It's like 9 miles away from the river. So on Christmas night, Washington and a force of his men make the dangerous and icy crossing across the Delaware River in secret. They march 9 miles. They pretty much surround the town and attack in the morning. Now, the Hessian force wasn't ready for this at all. They didn't have any scouts or outposts out. They didn't think they were going to get attacked by this ragtag and beat-up Continental Army across the river anytime around Christmas. So the word is they were pretty sleepy, pretty groggy, possibly hungover from Christmas cajoling. They didn't expect this attack. They were taken completely by surprise after a short but fierce battle. The Continental Army won. And although the numbers involved weren't very large, it was just a small town and a small Hessian force in New Jersey, it was a very big morale booster, not only for the Continental Army itself, but patriots everywhere. And also it inspired this excellent meme of "We will kill you in your sleep on Christmas," because George Washington, here in this famous painting, and his men literally crossed the Delaware River on Christmas to make a sneak attack on Trenton. So, it was a big boost. Some men re-enlisted. Some men joined the Continental Army because they thought, hey, maybe we can win after all. Brings us to 1777. The British have grand plans for a three-pronged attack, ultimately to take control of the Hudson River, separating New England from the rest of the colonies, as well as taking the city of Albany, New York. So they've got 3 different armies. 2 of them are going to swing down from Canada. 1 of them is going to swing up and head north up to Albany, New York. And there's a little more detail in the book and a lot more detail out there in the interwebs and books if you would like to read it. But the moral of the story is 2 of the 3 prongs were defeated. 1 prong defeated by Benedict Arnold, and another one defeated at Saratoga. And that involved the Green Mountain Boys we talked about earlier before. In the simplest term, 2 or 3 attacks failed, and as a result, the whole plan failed. We go into a piddly amount of information on Saratoga, but it's important to realize that the victory at Saratoga is considered by historians a turning point in the whole war. Let's take a moment to recognize African Americans in the battles of the revolutions. As the need for troops grew, states began ignoring the ban on essentially black soldiers. Rhode Island raised a whole regiment of African Americans in 1778. And by the end of the war, in fact, every state, with the exception of South Carolina, was using African American soldiers. It's estimated that up to 5,000 African American soldiers served the Patriot cause, and for different reasons. Some of them were offered freedom if they served. Some of them were signed up by their masters. Some of them liked the pay. They all had different reasons, and some of them just thought they believed in the Patriot cause and freedom and equality and things like that. It's a noble endeavor, a noble endeavor. Now, here at the end, we have a little supplemental knowledge. I've linked in a video from a made-for-TV movie about the whole Battle of Trenton, New Jersey, the surprise attack that Washington did crossing the river. And it picks up right after they cross the river, and it's sort of just the battle itself against the Hessians. And it is on TV, so it's not like rated R or anything. I would call it rated PG-13. There's a little bit of violence, a little bit of language, mostly subtitled because the Germans are quite surprised and they swear a lot because they're very surprised. One dude gets stabbed with a bayonet. Well, there's a lot of that, but only one of them is somewhat detailed in its gore. But really, it's not that bad. I would call it PG-13 myself. So it is just something I added there extra. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. But if you're into action movies or history, it will probably be worth your time. I really like it. It's one of my favorite movies. So there we have it. The next page is a simple quiz. Multiple choice, true or false, 10 points. Nothing crazy there. If you read the lesson, you should be good to go and score 10 out of 10. You won't need any 2 attempts. But perhaps you will. So that's it for today. We'll pick up with lesson 2 tomorrow. Otherwise, hey, have a great day.